Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over a new library that I just wrote for Swift and for Swift mobile apps that will allow developers to be able to update the version of the app that a user is using. If you're ready to get started, then stay tuned. Let's learn together. Alright, so here we are in our brand new Xcode project. Now your project does not have to be brand new, but I just wanted to create an example and let's walk through together how we will install our VersionLockout package inside a regular app. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go to our top project level file here, and then we'll also go to our project file here as well, and we will move over to package dependencies. Now this project, since it's brand new, doesn't have any dependencies just yet, so let's go ahead and add one really quickly. Now what we can do is we can use either the Swift package index version of this file, or we can use the GitHub version of this file. So let's go ahead and click use this package. So as you can see, we can use a package version if you're using a Swift package manager manifest, but we are not. We are doing an Xcode project, so we will copy our URL here, and we will jump back into Xcode, and we will paste this, and as you can see, I was working with this locally as well. So we will paste that into our search bar. Cool. And you can see that it is showing up here. So we will select Add Package. Great. Now we do want to make sure that we add this to our target. So as you can see, it's already selected to be added to our target. And then we will just click Add Package. And then we'll give it a moment to install that dependency. Great. And just like that, we can see up here that it is done installing that dependency. Now there are a couple different ways that you could have this set up. For example, we could come over into our main app settings. This is one way we can do it. And in order to start the version lockout process, we want to go ahead and set up the version lockout view model. Now, feel free again to put this wherever works best in your view hierarchy. Obviously, for this demo, putting it at the absolute topmost level makes the most sense for me. The idea behind putting this at the topmost level is if we put this at the topmost level, then we want it to actually prevent unnecessary loading of other data in the background if the user does need to update their app. That way we won't break any apps or crash any apps due to API changes. So our version lockout project is using observable. So let's go ahead and instantiate our view model here. And we will say this is a state variable. And we will call this our version lockout view model here. And it will be equal to our version lockout view model. Now, as you can see, this takes a URL. And as you can also see, we forgot to import our version lockout. So let's go ahead and import version lockout here. So now that we've got that set up, let's go ahead and let's pass in a URL. Now this URL is going to be where we are going to be fetching our settings from. Now, because this is just a demo again, I have a local server running using Kotlin. Now you don't actually need to build out a whole service just for this version lockout endpoint if you don't want to. For example, this could live in something as simple as a JSON file in your GitHub project itself. So that would allow the app to go out and check the JSON file, as long as it's public, obviously. So that would allow the app to go out and check the JSON file and get the version lockout response object returned, and then it would be able to display what it needs to in the app. So let's go over what these parameters are here in this version lockout response really quickly. So our recommended version is what we recommend that the user is using. They don't necessarily have to update. It would be nice if they did, but there is no breaking change in this update. Now if we want to require the user to update their app version, this is the version that we would change here. For example, if we had a breaking API change between version 1 and version 2, for example, then this is the value that we would change here. Now our update URL, this link is what will be displayed to the user whenever they see this version lockout screen that we'll go over here in just a second. And now we've also got an end of life flag as well as a message that will only show up on the end of life. So now that we kind of have an idea of what this object is and kind of how it works, let's go ahead and put the version lockout into our project and actually run it against this local URL. And we will create a new URL from a string, and we will give it the string of our local host file there. And now this takes a guaranteed URL, and we know that this is the right one because we just copied it. So we don't have to worry about any crashes with that not actually being a URL. Cool. And now the easiest way to do the version lockout file is to simply wrap this with a version lockout view, and we can pass this our version lockout view model. And let's go ahead and get rid of our up-to-date parameter here. And then we can just wrap our content view with our trailing closure. Cool. Now it's as simple as that to add this to your project. It's only a couple lines of code and very easy. So before we actually run this in the code to see what it looks like, when you create a brand new Xcode project, Apple does not give you a semantic version by default. It gives you 1.0, which is not a full semantic version. So let's go ahead and let's fix that by adding that extra .0 there. And this first number is for a major update, the second number is for a minor update, and the third number is for a patch or a bug update, some people call it. So let's go ahead and make sure we've got that version changed. Great. And then we will run our app in the simulator and see what's going on. Cool. So as we can see, our app is version 1.0.0. And as we can see from our data here, that is both the recommended and the required version, so nothing got shown to the user. So let's go ahead and let's change this a little bit. Let's say that maybe we did a bug fix to our app really quickly, and we changed this to 1.0.1. So now let's rerun our service, and let's jump back over here into Xcode, and we will quit and then rerun the app. Now this version lockout check happens anytime that a normal .task modifier would appear. So for example, on a cold launch, this will do the version check, or if the app has been backgrounded for too long and has gone out of memory, this will also do the background check then, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and run the app and see, now that we've got a recommended version update, what that looks like. Great, so we can see that we have an update available, and it says, "Hi friend, we've made some cool new updates." So this is just a generic message to let you know, hey, you've got an update. Now we can either skip this update, since it is just a recommended, there's no problem here, or we could click update now and it would take us directly to the App Store. So for now, let's just click skip and let's go on about our way. And as you can see, we've gotten back to our regular app view, and that view, the version lockout view, is now out of the way. So what if we stopped our app and we made a major breaking API change? So now, instead of our required version being 1, our required version is now version 2. So let's go ahead and let's rerun our service. Hopefully this makes it a little easier to see why I decided to run the service locally rather than pointing it at a GitHub file that I'd have to constantly be pushing changes to. So let's go ahead and jump back in, and now as you can see, our user is still going to be on version 1.0 of the app. And now they have a version update that our API says will be required. So let's see what that looks like in the simulator. Great, now on the simulator you can see our warning triangle has turned red, and we have lost our skip button. And we can also see that our messaging has changed just a little bit. So now if we go over and click on the Update Now button, as you can see, it would normally take us to the App Store, but obviously we didn't pass it in a good app update URL, or this may be because this is a weird issue for the simulator with 26.2. Either way, we've got that working now. So as you can see, we didn't actually update our app, and the app knows that, and the app knows that the user hasn't updated and prevents them from being able to go back in until we know for sure that the update has been completed. Cool. So now let's go ahead and let's stop our app. And let's change our version back down to 1, and we'll make our recommended back to 1.0, just so that we don't have any issues there. All right, and now let's see what this end of life looks like. Now you probably will never hit this, but I wanted to add this just in case. So the reason this was added is because Apple actually allows you to pull an app from the App Store whenever it's hit the end of its life. And that's great because it actually prevents the users from being able to continue to use the app and trying to hit old endpoints. However, right now, at the time of this recording, Google Play does not allow you to remove apps from the Play Store. So this was added so that if we want to add Android support in the future, especially with Swift on Android coming up, this would help the case of Android not being able to remove apps from users' devices. So we could change this to true, and we could give a message here, and we could say, it's been fun. See you in the next one. Cool. So now let's restart our service here. And then we will jump back over here and we will rerun our app. Cool. And as you can see, it's the end of the road for this app. It's been fun. See you in the next one. Now that's what this looks like whenever you're dealing with just the basic initial implementation of the version lockout view. Now if you don't like the default way that the UI looks whenever you're just using this basic version of the version lockout view, you can also jump back over into the README here. So let's go back into our documentation. So as you can see, we've got our screens that we just displayed. Now you can also use your own custom views for this version lockout. So you're not locked just to the defaults if you don't want to. So we can go ahead and just for the sake of time, I'll just paste this in here. Cool. And then we'll fix that with Control-I, fix that indentation. Now as you can see, we've got our version lockout view. And right now we are just displaying some basic text that says, I'm loading, there's a recommended update, there's a required update, there's an end of life, and this is your normal app view. So let's go ahead and let's do that, and let's see what this looks like with some custom logic. All right, so you should have seen it flash really quickly that it said I'm loading, and now it says I'm up to date. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and let's jump back over to our server for just a second, and we will stop this, and let's change our recommended version back to 1.0.1 just to let our app know, hey, there is in fact an update that we should be ready for. So let's go back over here and we will restart our iOS app as well. Cool, and now you can see this is our view for a recommended app update. And just like that, we have been able to add a very easy way to make sure that your users' apps are up to date. Now, if you want to use this library in your project as well, I will add the link to our version lockout library below. And if you like it, feel free to give it some stars. And if you see anything that could use an update, feel free to let me know or go ahead and put in an issue on GitHub. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you leave a comment, just be nice about it. That's all I ask. Thanks. Have a great day.